Howdy there, folks. You're listening to another exciting episode of You're Not My Father. Coming to you not so live from our studios here in Anchorage, Alaska. Get ready. I'm a podcast superstar. Welcome back. This is another episode of You're Not My Father. This is episode 4. I'm sorry, it's episode 5. We're doing so good. We're keeping track of all this stuff, albeit the math is a little slow. But welcome back. We really appreciate you coming back to the show and listening to us. Although a lot of it's been just me for right now. The kids have had a really busy schedule. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today, is how busy those schedules can be. One of the things that I've noticed being a single person or a married person without kids is how busy parents were with their kids, always driving them to soccer practice and, all these different events and things. I have become that person. I never really kind of thought that I would be like, yeah, I'm going to have my son do this and have my daughter do this and have all this other stuff happening. It just wasn't, I didn't really see that in the cards for me, as the broken crystal ball that I have that I got from Goodwill way back in 1992. There's no warranty on it, so can't return it. But anyway, I never saw that in that crystal ball. It just never materialized for me. But it definitely has happened. The whole having kids and doing more extracurricular activities. So there's multiple things that have happened since school has started. And anyway, we'll just bring it up to speed right now. So Sophia is in multiple things now. She is obviously still doing Taekwondo, which she is now a 2nd degree black belt in, which is pretty awesome. So I'm super excited for her. I don't know if I ever really kind of thought that she would get this far, and certainly not this quickly, but she did. She's also taking saxophone lessons at school. So in band class, they're doing saxophone. And I tried to talk her into getting a trumpet because I'm used to a trumpet, and woodwinds or wind instruments, with a reed, are a bit difficult. And I stand by that decision that they are quite a bit more difficult. The trumpet is certainly infinitely easier to play in so many different ways. But I went and got her a saxophone. Instead of doing a rental, I actually bought one. We're kind of, I'd say I'm pretty musical, but the family is becoming more musical. So why not have a saxophone laying around? And it was a used one, so it wasn't that expensive, but it was still kind of expensive. But I was taking the day off. I went to a local place. I picked it up. They set me up with everything I needed except for the actual mouthpiece. So that was supposed to come with it. So I had to go back and get it. And so I did a couple YouTube things trying to figure out, how to do whatever you want to call it with the saxophone. You kind of have to prep it to play it. Whereas a trumpet, for example, you put your mouthpiece in your trumpet, take it all out of the case, put it together, kind of warm up. Maybe you might need to lube up your valves a little bit with some valve oil. Outside of that, you're ready to play. Saxophone, no. You are not just going to pick it up and start playing it. So with the reed, you have to get it wet. So either you're dipping it in water or you're sucking on it for a period of time, and then you're putting it into the ligature on that mouthpiece, and that takes a little bit of time to do and get set up correctly. So a little bit of a challenge there. And so I was just like, okay, I'm going to try this, and nothing was happening. So what do? The first thing, I jumped to YouTube. I'm like, okay, there's got to be like 1,001 videos of like beginner's guide to saxophone, how you do this and stuff like that. Wasn't disappointed. Totally found what I was looking for. And whatever the book that comes with the instruction manuals, they're just poorly written. No wonder, you need an instructor to help you out with it. The books are horrible, but the videos are different, because you're actually talking and listening, and they're not necessarily trying to put something in words. They're showing you something that a book is going to have difficulty showing you everything. A video is much more involved than that. That's like being right there. So one of the interesting parts about it is that you put pressure on the mouthpiece on your lip, and then you have to kind of get it in the right position to make it to buzz. So with a trumpet, you kind of have that embouchure, I think that's what it's called, with your lips and your mouth, and you're making this vibrating noise. It almost sounds like kind of like a fart. So you're like, and that's how you do it. Well, with the saxophone, you still have the embouchure, but you're having to kind of blow, but the mouthpiece kind of sits on your lip, and you're almost kind of biting it. It was definitely weird, but it was kind of cool. So Sophia's been learning that. In the beginning, we kind of did some videos and kind of talked, kind of bounced ideas back and forth, because obviously I don't know anything about saxophone. She didn't. So we were kind of bouncing ideas off each other. Unfortunately, she went to school. And so for the past several band lessons, I guess, other people in the class haven't gotten, the whole saxophone bit. And so the beginning aspect of getting your reed right. So they haven't quite made it, haven't quite taken off yet. And so Sophia made the decision that she wasn't going to learn, because then it would make the class even more boring than what it is now, because she's already learned that and she has to wait. So a bit of a challenge in that learning aspect of it. Not a big fan of that, but we'll see. Maybe she'll want to pick it up and kind of full steam ahead with it. So there's that. What else is she doing? She wanted to sign up for choir, which they can't do because it's over at 4:45 every Thursday. And the way all these things and activities go on, it's like, when do you have time to work? Do you have to drop your kids off after work starts, and you have to pick them up before work gets out. And it's just like, you have to have a super flexible job, or you don't work, or, I really don't see how that works unless you have money and, you can afford to, have all these after school, aftercare activities, which we pay quite a bit for. But it's not like your personal valet that can just, I need you to do this and I need you to do that, and you can just ride around. So it's difficult. I've heard families having, grandparents and cousins and aunts and everybody else maybe pitching in, but, you can't always do that. And sometimes, they have lives themselves and they have jobs, and it's difficult. It's difficult. So as much as I wanted her to be in the choir, because I would love to have her get that, practice singing with her friends and that type of stuff, it just wasn't in the cards. So we had to nix that. Although she is going to be on, I guess, the yearbook committee or whatever. So they're going to be involved in that, taking pictures, which is kind of right up her alley. Luckily, that doesn't involve me having to do that after school or picking her up or whatever. So that's actually during a classroom environment. So that part's nice. So Sophia, I crack myself up. We mess with her name all the time. I've been calling her Sofrita. I'm not sure where that came from. I'm pretty sure I was cooking and came up with that term for her. So yeah, she's wanted to do choir practice. I think we talked about that. There's been lots of things that she's been working on. Conan, on the other hand, has been doing really well in Taekwondo, but he's not anywhere close to being black belt or anything along those lines. But he has been taking drum lessons. So whenever I was at the music shop where the saxophone was, I saw a gong, small one. So I bought it, and I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity for to buy something like this, and Conan can have this whenever he gets a drum kit and whatnot. And about that time, I saw a an ad on one of the windows was talking about drum lessons. And so this gentleman named Vinny, who works with special needs kids and does therapy and also just general drum lessons, I talked to him. I got some lessons. And so I think we're on lesson 4 when we bought him an electric drum kit. And so he's been working on it. It's been fun for everybody in the family, not just him, but me. I've had fun. And, with 2 hands, I can do amazing things. If I want to throw a foot into the mix at the same time, I break. I don't really, that doesn't work so well for me. The whole thing about patting your head and rubbing your belly and stomping your feet, not the same thing. I'm going to call that myth busted. That is not a good indicator of whether or not you're a drummer or not. But anyway, we've had some fun little sessions where, I've been playing guitar, they've been playing on drums, and it's been cool. And even my buddy Luke has been over, and, we've just kind of rocked out, and it's been fun. So the idea of music being therapy and just good for the soul is, that is not a myth. That is 100% USDA prime good advice for you. But I'm interested to see what else Conan is going to get into. I'm sure that at some point I'll have stickers in the back of my truck with, their name and a football number or something like that. He's big time into running, which I think is probably one of the more relevant activities out there. Running is a really great survival skill. Football, maybe not so much, but I'm not opposed to it. I liked football when I was a kid. Just the ho-hum redneck high school that I went to just didn't quite have that kind of program set up. I'm not really going to talk bad about my school, but not too many good things were going on there. So, take that with whatever grain of salt that you'd have. And that was during my time there. Things change. But anyway, I just want my kids to take some knowledge, take some experience, let these things carry them forward into life, in a positive way, learn something from it, have a skill that comes out of it. And one of the things that I'll give you some homework, because I'm not your father, but in the spirit of giving good advice, I'm going to recommend a book by a person I know, because that's how you give plugs on podcast. It's called The Walk-On Method. It's by a man named Jim Roddy. Jim is a great guy. The Walk-On Method, and I'm going to butcher and condense this down into a 30-second clip of an overall what this book is about. But it's stories and experiences of people who didn't give up, that refused to surrender because they really were passionate and believed into something. So the walk-on method coming from the story of a man named Jim who was so passionate about the basketball team, loved it so much, he refused to say no. They would kick him out and he would keep coming back. And he wanted to be on the team so badly, they put him on the team. He actually got to play. It changed his life. And it's something that other people in the world have done the exact same thing, that they buck the odds. They refuse to give in, and they wanted it so bad that they got it. So it's a great piece of advice. And I'm sorry, Jim, if you're listening to this and feel like I've butchered it, but don't take my advice specifically on what exactly that book is about. I'm not giving you the Cliff Notes version of it. What I am advising you to do is pick up a copy of that book and read it. It's a great read. I think for anybody who needs fatherly advice, and I think that is true no matter what age you are, this book will do really well for you. I truly believe that as a child or kid or young adult, having those stories, those experiences, albeit vicariously, in the back of your mind can help you achieve what you want to achieve. And I am not a self-help guru. I'm really kind of more relating my experiences in the hope that, you will learn something from it and it will mean something to you. And I think in a lot of ways, some of the intent of this book is that very way. Take what you need from this book, but succeed, survive, do it. So yeah, pick up that book. It's called The Walk-On Method by Jim Roddy. You can pick it up on Amazon today in hard copy or Kindle format. Really, really great read. Highly recommend it. And with that, I'm going to end this. I guess it's a little bit early, maybe not. Kind of lost track of time. Our next episode, I will have the kids on board. We're going to let them take over the show and give them some questions, and they'll give some answers and insight. And we'll see how fatherly advice is working on and some of their advice on maybe what is best in life and how to achieve it. Because if there's one thing I've learned, that everybody's opinion, everybody's perspective is important, and continuously listening to different perspectives and different viewpoints, and even taking yourself to those viewpoints, enriches the soul. It enriches your knowledge. I like to think of myself as somebody who's always willing to change. I may not change, but I'm always willing to listen to it and hear, for nothing more than the fact that, somebody else is passionate about it. And I like to understand other people. Other people are interesting to me. The new, the different. It may not be the case with all popular music, but anyway, that's the end for me. Y'all have a great one. Enjoy. Be safe.